Do you know that most of your favorite soul music artists exhibited ill behaviors that were covered up? In this video, we will expose 15 malicious acts that soul music legends tried to hide from their fans. Number 15. James Brown's manipulations. James Brown was known as a singer, songwriter, dancer, and a central progenitor of funk music. He is also called the Godfather of Soul and the King of Soul, which he lived up to in his lifetime. His career spanned over 5 decades, during which he influenced the development of several music genres. He was among the first 10 inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in January 1986. James Joseph Brown was born on May 3, 1933 in Barnwell, South Carolina. His mother, Susie, was 16 years old at the time of his birth, and his father, Joseph Gardner Brown, was 21. He was talented, with 17 released singles that reached number 1 on the Billboard R&B charts. He also had many other awards and accolades to his name. Although he was renowned for impacting the music industry, his personal life was far from glorious. All that was visible to the public for a while was his musical talent and input. However, the scandalous side of his personal life caught up pretty soon. An incident ensued where Brown reportedly stirred a shootout at a concert in 1963. This led to several people being shot and wounded, but he was never charged for the incident. He used both money and influence to manipulate the situation. According to Jenkins, a man appeared after the shootout and gave each of the injured $100 to keep them from speaking to the press or taking it further. Although he managed to sweep some of the scandals under the rug, the public still caught sight of them. Several other scandalous charges abound on his account, including a substance-related charge that led to a 6-year sentence. However, he served for 2 years and was released on parole. Number 14. Bobby Womack's incest. Robert Dwayne Womack, known professionally as Bobby Womack, was born on the 4th of March, 1944, and passed away on 27th of June, 2014. Robert was an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist who started his career in the early 1950s. He began as the lead singer of his family musical group, the Valentinos, and Sam Cooke's backup guitarist. Womack's career spanned over 6 decades, with multiple music styles including R&B, blues, and soul. He worked closely with other legendary icons in the industry like Sam Cooke, making a name for himself. Alongside other honors and recognition, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2009. Although Womack struggled with substance use during his career, a more controversial and scandalous part of his days was his marriage. Bobby Womack married Sam Cooke's widow, Barbara Cooke, in 1965, and his marriage was considered controversial. As a result, he was ostracized from the soul music world. However, the marriage was not the worst scandal. It was more of a cover-up for something worse. While the charade of the marriage lasted for about 5 years, underneath, an actual scandal was brooding. Bobby Womack was having an illicit affair with his stepdaughter, Linda Cooke. Barbara discovered this when her daughter was 17 years old, leading to a major discord between the couple, who eventually divorced. This was more of a scandal than the marriage between Bobby and Barbara. Their separation was in 1970, and their divorce was finalized in 1971. Number 13. Ray Charles admittance. Ray Charles was born on the 23rd of September, 1930. He grew to become an American singer, songwriter, and pianist before his passing in 2004. He was often referred to by contemporaries as the genius and regarded as one of the most influential musicians in the industry's history. Ray was blinded during childhood, possibly due to glaucoma. He pioneered soul music during the 1950s by combining elements of different genres during his time with Atlantic Records. Some genres he integrated into his music included blues, jazz, R&B, and gospel. With many awards and honors, Ray Charles was a force to be reckoned with. However, the iconic musician could be traced to illegal use and dispersal of hard substances. On several occasions, he was arrested for substance possession, but this never deterred him. He was also known to have had a scandalous record of relationships with many women. Ray had 12 children, 10 women, and many other unofficial relationships. The initial efforts to manage his public persona failed as his arrests and scandals became public knowledge. To seal the deal, he admitted in his autobiography before his passing that he became hooked on women after losing his virginity at the age of 12 to a 20-year-old lady. He added that he had an obsession centered on women and an addiction to pills. Number 12. Whitney Houston's marriage to Bobby Brown. Whitney Elizabeth Houston was an American singer, actress, film producer, and philanthropist. Her nickname was The Voice. She was born on the 9th of August, 1963 and grew to become one of the most awarded performers of all time. She was a bright star with a clean image for most of the 1980s and the early 1990s, until she met Bobby. Bobby Beresford Brown Sr. is an American singer, songwriter, rapper, and dancer. He was born 5th February 1969 and grew to find his place in the entertainment world. He is renowned as a pioneer of New Jack Swing, a fusion of hip-hop and R&B alongside Teddy Riley, with whom he frequently collaborates. Whitney's reputation began declining from the late 90s, and her marriage to Bobby Brown became a frequent tabloid topic. Brown was abusive, and allegations of substance use shocked Whitney until she died in 2012. She was perceived by many as a tragic figure because she was an enormous talent whose career was cut short by addiction and betrayal. She put up with her marriage to Brown for many years, but it was a charade of a scandalous marriage. At a breaking point in Whitney Houston's life, she divorced Bobby Brown. However, this did not solve the underlying personal issues she had developed. Rather, it propelled her downward even more until she died in Beverly Hills. An autopsy was conducted, and illegal substances were discovered in her system. While it seemed to have ended there, her daughter Bobby Christina Brown suffered a similar fate 3 years later. Number 11. Ryan Adams's monstrous side revealed. David Ryan Adams was born on November 5, 1974 in Jacksonville, North Carolina. He and his siblings grew up with their grandparents because his parents divorced when he was 5. He had a dysfunctional childhood, and this took its toll on him in more ways than many understood. Ryan Adams is an American country singer, songwriter, and rock artist. He has 30 studio albums released on his account, 3 of which he released as a former member of Whiskeytown. His public persona was that of an introspective guitarist and musician. However, this appeared to have been a cover for scandals. A recent revelation by his 2 ex-wives and several other women shone a light on the abusive and monstrous side of Ryan Adams. There were allegations that he used his influence in the music industry to coerce women into intimate activities. Another report stated that he engaged in inappropriate communication with an underage fan. This stirred up an FBI investigation. His 3 planned album releases in 2019 were canceled, and his marriage ended. This also affected his tour of Britain and Ireland, as both were canceled. The impact of this scandal exposure never left him or his career the same. Number 10. George Michael Lewd acts exposed. Georgios Kyriakos Panayotou, professionally known as George Michael, was born on 25 June 1963 in East Finchley. He passed away in December of 2016. Being the youngest child of 3, he was also the only son of his parents, Kyriakos Panayotou and Leslie Angold. George Michael was an English singer, songwriter, and record producer. His wave in the music industry earned him the recognition of a pop culture icon who was a renowned creative force in songwriting, vocal performance, and visual performance. He was a mega pop star with several honors and accolades to his record. The former lead singer of Wham was known to have a large, devoted fan base that was predominantly female. Regardless of this obvious fact, the singer appeared to have a significant part of his personal life that contradicted popular opinion. While his public persona painted an image of a straight sexuality, in secret, the story was different. This scandalous insight was hidden from the public until a cop caught him. In Beverly Hills, an undercover cop discovered George Michael engaging in a lewd act with another man in Beverly Hills. This resulted in a huge scandal that shook the music world in 1998. Tabloids and even cable news extensively covered the scandal. Michael George was arrested after being discovered, and this forced him to own up to his sexuality publicly. At the time of his death, he was one of the world's most recognized gay performers. Number 9. Rick James, an abductor. James Ambrose Johnson Jr. was born in Buffalo, New York, to Mabel and James Ambrose Johnson Sr. on 1 February 1948. Being one of 8 children, he grew up as an altar boy and choir member at St. Bridget's Catholic Church. With such a pious background, the scandals to his name before his demise in 2004 were entirely contradictory. He is mostly known by his stage name, Rick James, which he used as a professional moniker. Rick was an American singer, songwriter, and record producer in the music industry for more than a decade before his career declined in the early 1990s. The dimming of this star's bulb began after 2 kidnappings that were influenced by his substance use. Rick and Tanya Hijazi, his girlfriend, abducted and tortured a 24-year-old hostage over 6 days. A second occurrence happened when Rick took a music executive captive for 20 hours. This was done while he was out on bail for the first offense. His substance use became publicly known at the time of his and Tanya's arrest for the first kidnapping in 1991. However, only a few people knew his irrationality's depths. Not only that, his addiction to the hard substance was also severe. The super freak musician spent 2 years behind bars and is now renowned for his hedonist lifestyle rather than his music of 1980s hits. Number 8. A.I. Green's hidden traits. Albert Leorns Green, best known as Al Green, is an American singer, songwriter, pastor, and record producer. He is renowned for a series of soul hit singles he recorded in the early 1970s. This star has switched boats several times from secular to gospel music, pastoring, and back to secular music. He was born on the 13th of April 1946 to Coralie and sharecropper Robert G. Green Jr. in Forest City, Arkansas. He was the 6th of 10 children in the Green household. His musical expressions began when he was about 10, as he performed with his sister in the Green Brothers group. Al Green made tremendous input in the music industry, earning himself 21 Grammy nominations and winning 11. He has many more awards and accolades on his account. However, the brightness of Green's stardom was not enough to hide the dark spots on his record. Similar occurrences have revealed that this soul music icon has a record of violence, which he had tried to cover. His first wife, Shirley, filed for divorce against him on the grounds of cruelty. He refused admittance severally until 1982 when, under oath, he agreed that he struck his wife. Their divorce was finalized in 1983 and they went their separate ways. Other lawsuits were filed against him from diverse quarters, all hinting at violence. Linda Willis, a former secretary of the Star, filed a civil suit against him, and she alleged that Green beat her and shoved her through a glass door in his Memphis office after a dispute over her wages. The civil lawsuit was dropped. Do you think this is all about the scandals soul music legends tried to hide? Not at all. They kept even more defamations under wraps. Keep watching as we unveil more. Number 7. Milli Vanilli song theft. Milli Vanilli was a German duo from Munich who specialized in R&B music. The duo consisted of Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus. Frank Farian created their R&B music act in 1988, the founder of Boney. Their song releases made headlines and drew massive public attention and praise until a scandal ensued. Their rise to fame was sponsored by an unforgettable style and a captivating production that characterized their music releases. Their debut album yielded 5 top 5 singles in the United States, and the duo won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1990. They quickly emerged as one of the most popular pop acts in the late 1980s and early 1990s, having 7 million records sold in America alone and an estimated 30 million singles. Later that year, Frank Farian, the man behind the scenes as producer for Milli Vanilli, made a shocking announcement that changed everything. He disclosed that the duo, Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan, had not sung on their tracks. This bombshell revelation shattered the illusion of authenticity surrounding their meteoric rise to fame, causing their impressive popularity to evaporate rapidly. Fans felt betrayed, and the backlash was swift and intense. Public outrage erupted, and the once beloved duo found themselves receiving criticism from all sides. The fallout was immediate and severe. They lost their hard-won Grammy Award and faced a slew of lawsuits from disgruntled fans and industry stakeholders who felt cheated. The very foundation of their success was called into question, and as the media furor escalated, it became clear that their careers were in serious jeopardy. Following their initial downfall, Milli Vanilli made several attempts to stage a comeback, attempting to regain the public's favor and reclaim their musical careers. But these efforts failed to gain traction. In a surprising twist, they eventually agreed to reunite with Frank Farian in the late 1990s, hoping to produce a new album that could redefine their legacy. However, tragedy struck, just as it seemed they might have a chance at redemption. In April 1998, Rob Pilatus passed away under heartbreaking circumstances, leaving Fab Morvan to grapple with the loss of his friend and partner. The planned album was left unfinished and unrealized, marking a somber end to a story that had once been filled with glittering success and fame. Number 6. R. Kelly's pedophile record. The former American singer, songwriter, and record producer was credited with prolific success in R&B, hip-hop, and pop music. Although best known as R. Kelly, His birth name is Robert Sylvester Kelly. Due to his commercial success in music, he earned monikers such as the King of R&B, the King of Pop Soul, and others. His career, however, came to an end after his arrest and subsequent conviction on federal racketeering and trafficking charges involving minors. R. Kelly is one of the most prolific and talented R&B vocalists of the last 3 decades. The music icon was born on January 8, 1967 in the south side of Chicago, Illinois. His mother was Joanne, a devout Baptist who doubled as a school teacher. He had 5 siblings and an absent father during his childhood. Despite many years of escape from legal and media persecution, evidence emerged in the late 90s and early 2000s that sealed his fate. This evidence, which the icon had tried to keep under the rug, sprang up like a cat escaping from a bag. They confirmed allegations that R. Kelly was a pedophile. In 2007, he was accused by multiple women of running an illicit cult that involved minors. Following the release of the documentary Surviving R. Kelly in 2019, the Chicago native has finally faced the long overdue consequences of his actions. He is currently on trial for federal adult film charges. Number 5. Michael Jackson's children's scandal. The legendary King of Pop is not exempt from this list. Among many career breakthroughs and achievements that broke racial barriers, Michael Jackson's record was not without scandal. He was born on the 9th of August in 1958. He was the 8th of 10 children in the Jackson family. Michael Jackson was an American singer, songwriter, dancer, and philanthropist who became regarded as one of the most significant figures of the 20th century. His career spanned over 4 decades, and his world music records were unmatched, earning him the fame of a global figure. He is deemed the greatest entertainer of all time, having introduced many trends and influenced many through his performances. Allegations and speculations had been long pending without confirmation. However, a revelation shook his fan base in 2009. The release of Finding Neverland forced Michael Jackson's fans to accept a truth they had denied all along. The King of Pop was involved in illicit activities. He had preyed on young children for decades. The height of the obscenity was sickening, and the world to this day has not forgotten it, even after his death. It was said that the number of children he maltreated was uncertain, and this was on for years. Although his success was founded upon a traumatic childhood, the world has not excused his scandal. This was successfully hidden for many years until 2019. Number 4. Stevie Wonder's dark spot. Stevland Hardaway Morris, best known as Stevie Wonder, is an American Ghanaian musician whose talents spread across songwriting, singing, and record producing. He is credited as one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. These genres include R&B, pop, soul, gospel, funk, and jazz. The solo artist also formed a virtual one-man band. Stevie Wonder was born in Saginaw, Michigan on the 13th of May 1950 to Lula Mae Hardaway and Calvin Judkins. Wonder was born 6 weeks earlier than expected as a premature infant. Due to the oxygen-rich atmosphere in the hospital incubator, retinopathy of prematurity ensued. This disease stops eye growth and development, often causing the retinas to detach. Owing to the events of his birth, he became blind. Although he was blind, some spots could be traced to his seemingly scandal-free record. TMZ obtained a lawsuit filed in County Superior Court by a man who claims to have been unjustly fired from Stevie's radio station. The man in question, Reginald Thomas Jr., stated that he was fired by KJLH, which Stevie Wonder owns. He said this was after questioning an alleged harassment incident involving the music legend. Reginald also spoke to his boss about allegations that employees at the station had engaged in. His abrupt work termination was done to keep him out of the KJLH and stop him from further prying into secret matters. This was an obvious attempt to hide scandalous details from the public eye and ears. Number 3. Solomon Burke was blackballed. Solomon Burke goes by the birth name James Solomon McDonald, who was born in West Philadelphia to Josephine Moore and an absentee father on March 21st in 1940. Burke became an American singer who played a significant role in shaping the sound of rhythm and blues as one of the pioneers of soul music in the 1960s. The icon is regarded as a key transitional figure that bridged the gap between R&B and soul music genres. Although he went by some monikers that honored him as a significant figure in soul music, his chart success was minimal compared to other soul music icons. Some recalled him as the Muhammad Ali of soul music. Others called him the Bishop of Soul and the King of Rock and Soul. Despite his talents and input, Burke was described as soul music's most unfairly overlooked singer of the Golden Age. In commendation of his talents, Atlantic Records executive Jerry Wexler called the star the greatest soul singer ever. This raises concerns about why he was not accorded awards and recognition. The story of Burke sheds some light on the dark, manipulative ability and tendencies of managers in the music industry. In 1950, the Bishop of Soul had a scandal with his manager Kay Williams over performance royalties, marking the downturn of his career. Burke claimed that Williams was siphoning off some of the money the star should have received from his concerts. This confrontation cost Burke a lot as it led to a heated argument, which was followed by the star being dropped from Apollo, the label that signed him as a rising star. After his fallout from Apollo, new claims came to light that Williams Kay had blackballed him from the industry, hindering further advancements in his career. Burke's career never recovered, and Williams was silent about the incident. Number 2. Aretha Franklin's backstory. This iconic female music artist was honored as the Queen of Soul and was named the greatest singer of all time on 2 occasions by Rolling Stone magazine. Aretha Franklin was an American songwriter, singer, and pianist. Although she passed away in 2018, her impact on the music industry lives on. She was also known to be one of the significant contributors to the pioneering of soul music. Aretha Louise Franklin was born to Barbara and Clarence Franklin on March 25, 1952 in Memphis, Tennessee. Her father was a Baptist minister and circuit preacher, while her mother was an accomplished piano player and vocalist. Owing to her parents' influence, Aretha started with gospel music. However, after her 18th birthday, she transitioned to pop music and moved to New York. The Queen of Soul, often celebrated as a musical legend, achieved remarkable acclaim and success, solidifying her status as one of the best-selling music artists in history, with an astonishing 75 million records sold worldwide. Her influence on music spans decades, resonating with countless fans globally. Throughout her prolific career, she recorded 112 singles that made their way onto the U.S. Billboard charts. This remarkable feat includes 73 Hot 100 entries, which reflect her consistent ability to produce chart-topping hits. Among her many achievements are 17 singles that broke into the top 10 pop charts, showcasing her versatility and broad appeal across different musical genres. She also made a significant impact on the R&B scene, with a staggering 96 entries in that genre alone. 20 of those reached the #1 spot on the R&B charts, underscoring her dominance and artistry in rhythm and blues. In recognition of her extraordinary talent and contributions to music, she received numerous honors throughout her storied career. Notably, she was awarded 18 Grammy Awards out of 44 nominations. This impressive tally highlights her exceptional skill as a singer and performer, and reflects the industry's acknowledgement of her artistic innovation and influence. Her legacy inspires generations of musicians and fans alike, affirming her rightful place as a true icon in the music world. The Queen of Soul preferred that her voice and impact be louder than the woes she experienced from her roots. However, no matter how long the past is shielded, it doesn't go away. A published biography revealed some traumatic dark shades in the star's life, including an early pregnancy at the age of 12, her alleged struggle with hard drinks, and the woes of her first marriage. The biography reveals the painful details of her life as groomed in a home and community ordered by exploitation and violence. This says a lot about her moving to New York at 18 and the emotional intensity behind her songs and performances. Due to the revealing factors of the biography by David Ritz, the soul music legend publicly discredited it, claiming it was full of lies. However, the author had worked with her on her autobiography before publishing an independent biography about her due to the details lacking from the first published version. Her claims must have been in a bid to cover the dark, troubling details of her past. Number 1. Sam Cooke's tragic death scandal. This legendary American singer and songwriter is regarded as one of the most influential soul music artists ever. Although best known as Sam Cooke, the artist was born Samuel Cooke. He goes by the performance moniker King of Soul because he influences popular music, his significant contribution to pioneering the soul music genre, and his outstanding vocals. Sam Cooke was the 5th of 8 children born to Annie Mae Cooke and Rev Charles Cooke. He was born on the 22nd of January in 1931, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Before he met an early unfortunate demise, Cooke's career blossomed for 8 years, during which he made the most hits. Within that duration, he released 29 singles that made it to the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. He also released 20 singles in the top 10 of Billboard's Black Singles chart. Despite his enormous fame in the music industry, his personal life had a questionable side to it, as do many stars. This had been kept off the public radar, However, the controversial circumstances surrounding his passing brought some revelations. In 1964, the soul music icon was attacked in Los Angeles. The manager reportedly delivered the shot of the motel. Despite the nature of his passing, the court did not penalize the person who shot him, ruling it as a justifiable homicide. However, many question the truth behind his death to this day. The mystery that shrouds his death hints that a lot was swept under the rug. But besides the controversies, a more obvious scandal that was revealed was his engagement in extramarital affairs. Although married at the time of his death, he was seen getting cozy with a 22-year-old the night of his death. Whether or not his death was a planned conspiracy, an uninvestigated homicide, or a case of self-defense, one thing was certain. His intoxication and involvement with Elisa Boyer remain solid factors that led to his early demise. Which of these scandals they tried to keep under wraps shocked you the most? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Thanks for watching.